Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be working on Pass the Pillow. And in this one you have n people standing in a line labeled 1 to n, and the first person is holding the pillow and the pillow goes to the right. And every second that person passes to the next person from 1 to n. And then once it gets to the end, then it starts going backwards. So it'll keep going back and forth once it gets to the ends. So given two positive integers, n and time, return the index of the person holding the pillow after time seconds. And it takes 1 second for the pillow to pass from one person to the next. So that will always take 1 second. So let's take a look at this first example where n equals 4 and time is 5. So initially the pillow starts here. And so this is at time equals 0. Then at time equals 1 it will be here, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 2. In the second example, if we have 3 people and time equals 2, it'll just go 1, 2, and then it'll go to this guy. So essentially, one really easy way to do it is like just loop time length, right? And just say like you can just manually do this, right? So you can just keep track of where you are. And then if you ever get to n, then you just like go backwards. So you just keep track of like, am I going in a positive or negative direction? If I'm in a positive direction, I'll add. If I'm in a negative direction, I'll subtract. And you loop through time. But the problem is that will be O of time. So the better way to do this is realize that like, this is a very repetitive pattern, right? Like I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go back, and so on. So really all I have to do is just keep track of like the number of cycles I did, where a cycle is just going from one end to the other. So if I know how many cycles I have, and then I know which direction I'm going now, and then I also need one more variable, which is like the remainder or the extra thing that I have. So for example here, a cycle takes 3 seconds, right? And but I mean, a cycle just go from one end to the other. So a cycle will always take n minus 1 seconds because it's like 1, 2, 3, right? So it'll always take n minus 1 seconds. So we can just say like, let's take our time, let's divide it by n minus 1, which is 3, and we'll get some information here, right? So we have 1 cycle and we have a remainder of 2. And if our cycle is odd, that means we're going to be going left, right? Because on every 0 cycle, you're going right. Like when there's no cycles, we're going this way. When there's 1 cycle, you go this way. When there's 2 cycles, you go this way. When there's 3 cycles, you go this way. So if we have an odd number of cycles, that means we're going to be going right to left. And how much extra do we have? So we just do 5 mod 3, right? Time modded by the number of like moves for a cycle, and we get 2 here. So we know we're going left, so our cycles here, we can fill all this out now. Our cycles is really all we need to know from our cycles is which direction we're going. But yeah, so our cycles is basically 1. So the direction, we're going to be going left, and then the remainder is 2. So if we know if we're going left and the remainder is 2, then we can do that part in O of 1 time as well. Because like, let's say n in time is pretty big. Like let's say n in time is like 1,000 each, or you know, let's just go with some other thing, like time's like 1 billion, and n is 1,000. So if we have 2 extra, we know we're going left. So we need to make 2 moves to the left starting at the last one. So that will just be n minus the extra section, right? And then if we were going right, then we would just do 1 plus the extra section. So let's do that for these examples, this like O of 1 solution really quickly again, so fill all this out. So essentially, let's say, okay, so if n equals 4 and time is 5, our cycles is 1, and our direction is left and our remainder is 2. So our answer is just n minus the remainder, which is just 2. And then for the second example, so our time is 2 and n is 3, which means we have 0 cycles. So if we have 0 cycles, remember if the number of cycles is odd or even, we're going to be going right, because it's like 0 will go here, then 1, then 2, then 3, then so on. So every odd cycle will go right to left, every even cycle will go left to right. So if we have 0, we're going to be going left to right. Our remainder here is 2 mod 3, which is just 3. Actually, sorry, it's 2. And so then where are we? Well, it's just going to be at 1 plus 2, which is 3. And so that's basically how you can do it. So you just calculate the number of cycles in O of 1, calculate the direction in O of 1, calculate the remainder in O of 1, and from that information, you're either starting here and adding the extra section, or you're starting here and subtracting the extra section. So let's do that. So we can say cycles equals time mod n. Now we need the remainder. Actually, sorry, this is not that. This is this. We need, yeah. So this is the number of cycles. So then we need to know the remainder. And that's time mod n. Now we need to know the direction. So we're just going to return based on the direction here. So we can just do this in like one line. We can just say return. So if the number of cycles is even, we're going left to right. So we can say cycles mod 2 equals 0. Then we're going to be going left to right, which will just be 1 plus the remainder. And we know this remainder is less than a cycle because this is like the extra part, right? Actually, I screwed this up a little. So remember, a cycle takes n minus 1 to complete. So this is n minus 1. There we go. Okay, so if we're going left to right, it's 1 plus remainder. And if our cycles is odd, then we're going right to left, which is n minus remainder. And that's basically it. So there we go. So this is O of 1 time and O of 1 space. So I do think like these easier math problems should be pretty fair to ask in like coding interviews, and like definitely, you know, you don't have to come up with some crazy stuff. It's like pretty intuitive. This or like some other reasonably basic, like maybe an arithmetic sum or geometric sum or something, aren't like insane. This is like pretty basic stuff. So you do want to recognize like, okay, I'm doing something over and over and over and over. How can I make this faster? Well, if it's repetitive, I can just figure out like how many cycles I did. And yeah, so that's going to be all for this one. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.